I am Major General Swart. I'm the Deputy Provincial Commissioner of Policing for the Eastern Cape. I will be retiring on the 31st of October 2020 after more than 40 years of service. I joined the South African Railway Police on the 10th of January 1980, and in 1986 the Railway Police was amalgamated with the South African Police Service, and in that period I was then a lieutenant, and I was placed in Pretoria Head Office, where I served in the office of the Deputy National Commissioner for Personal Services. A period that I gained a lot of experience in terms of the administration of the police, and a period in terms of which I always thanked the commanders I had for allowing me to understand the responsibility that lies with the administrative group that serves operational duties. In 1992, when I became a major, I was placed as a third in charge of the district commissioner at Ladybrand. But after a short period of time, I became the acting district commissioner, a post I occupied till 1995. And in 1995, I was appointed as a deputy area commissioner for policing in the area of Bethlehem. A period that brought a lot of changes to the country. I was tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that the transition with the areas around Kwakwa, and a period in which I made great friends with many people. In my time in the Free State, I was also responsible for the establishment of the district liaison committees around Lesotho and South Africa, a project that actually at the end of the day culminated into a national drive, and all peace committees, all liaison committees that currently serves between South Africa and Lesotho was actually started by me in that period of time. I also formed part of the writing of the extradition treaty between South Africa and Lesotho, for which I received a letter of commendation in that time from Minister Dula Omar. There's many projects that we did in that period, and some of them, I'm sure, made people to see me in a better light. I was then taken to Scotland, where I underwent a course in community policing, a course that served me very well, because I was able to understand the issue of service to the people better. In the year 2000, I was appointed as a Deputy Area Commissioner for Policing in East London, a post which I occupied till 2006, after which I was then appointed as a station commander, cluster commander for the newly established clusters in the King Williamstown area. Many changes again came on my way, but I worked with great people and great commanders. In 2009, I was appointed as a provincial head for protection and security services in the Eastern Cape. A post which brought new challenges in terms of the political environment that it's in, but a post which I really truly enjoyed, and which taught me the importance of ensuring that major events is properly planned and executed to ensure that there's no embarrassment for the SAPS. In this period of time, we had the funeral of the former president, President Nelson Mandela. We had the Soccer World Cup and other major events for which I was responsible for the planning. It was a period of my life where I was able to coordinate with every other department, and a period that helped me in the latter part of my appointments. In 2015, after serving as a brigadier for 15 years, I applied for the post of a major general and was appointed as a cluster commander from Danzani. This was one of my happiest periods of my life, but it lasted only a very few months, as I was then phoned late at night by the then Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Binta, who informed me that I was transferred to the Provincial Commissioner's office as a Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Policing with immediate effect. I took up this post as a Deputy Provincial Commissioner in Policing, and shortly after I took up the post, the new Provincial Commissioner was appointed, Lieutenant General Nchinga. I was very fortunate that from the first day we met, we met in an environment which needed both of us to be operationally commanding, and we were able to have the same idea in terms of how to police. We started off with the local government elections in 2016, a very troublesome period, and we were able to maintain the order that it actually required from us. From there on instruction of the Provincial Commissioner, I was involved in a number of projects. I think one of the key projects that I was involved in was the traditional policing establishment as per instruction of the National Commissioner, and a project that I thoroughly enjoyed. One of the projects that I would not have been able to do if it was not for my period that I served as a Provincial Head for Protection and Security Services, where I had the privilege before to actually engage with the royal houses, the kings, and also the House of Traditional Leaders. This period of my life as a Deputy Provincial Commissioner was quite a change in terms of understanding that now you are a Deputy Provincial Commissioner. You command a group of officers who are all generals, who are brigadiers, who had their own opinion about how to police, and you had to be very sensitive in terms of not trying to change their minds in terms of how they see policing. But I think I was able to work with a great team, each and every one, the Provincial Commissioner, the deputies, and all the cluster commanders, and now the district commissioners. I have had no day that I felt that I couldn't do this job. I had no day that I could feel that I did not have support to do this job. In this period, I grew very close to the Provincial Commissioner herself, and we were able to form a very good team. I think that the greatest ability I had in my life was to be a supporter of my commanders. I believe that if you can support your commander, then life would be very easy for you. But if you don't support your commander, you must understand that you become very lonely. I was able to, in my whole life, to support all my commanders. For that reason, I never in my whole life once had a commander that I couldn't work with. I've also in my whole life in the police never experienced something which other officers so commonly use to say that person or that person cannot do the job. I have never served in any post. I have never served in any environment. I've never worked with any person in the police who couldn't do the job. I have never. I still believe that commanders is a key ingredient of ensuring that policing is done, and if the basics is done, then the rest of it will follow naturally. At this point of my life, I really want to thank a few people. I want to thank my family and my wife and my children who have sacrificed more for this career than anyone could ever imagine. A family that could never go on holidays, could never see a father that is there all the time for them, but a family that all grew up and who are all today able to fend for themselves. My mother and my brother, my two sisters, yes, those are the pillars that I've got. And then my colleagues, let me start with everybody, constables, sergeants, officers. But let me go to a few individuals that really contributed immensely in my life. Firstly, in the early 80s, I was a member of the Railway Police Task Force. The then commander was a Captain Olivier. Those were the periods that actually molded me operationally in my life. Those were the periods that gave me the ability to take decisions and to actually operationally execute them by leading from the front. That was a very important person that I've met in my life. Then, in 2000, General Sloba became almost a father figure in the Eastern Cape for me. General Namkele, a great friend and a person that has supported me in this period of my life. Then the current management of the police. During my period as a Deputy Provincial Commissioner, I worked with provincial heads of all components in the province. I don't want to single out any one of them, except those that were very close to me: Brigadier Ngodi, Brigadier Twala, Brigadier Ntsaba. But then there were also people like Colonel Winky at the detectives. There was Dan Boata, there was a Colonel Rute, responsible for stock theft, and who formed a very good and a very close alliance with the Rural Safety Project and programs. But apart from those operational commanders, all other provincial heads, Brigadier Frans de Klerk, Brigadier Wolfhard, Brigadier Klaas, Brigadier Fuyani that retired, Brigadier Teka, were people that I worked with on a daily basis, but not just the provincial heads. I was also able to work with all officers in the environments of crime intelligence. I had a habit of going down to crime intelligence, sit in their offices and drink tea. I think I'm the only officer who goes to crime intelligence, invade their space, sit there and drink tea with the provincial head. Every single one of the officers and the personnel here in the provincial office have contributed immensely to my happiness in this post. to everyone that I could talk to on a daily basis, I had a great time working in this environment. I really want to thank each and every one of you for what you have done. For all the clerks that worked with me long hours during promotion panels, to the cleaners who cleaned our offices, to the members and the commanders, thank you very much. I really enjoyed my time with you. All of you will have a special place in my heart, and I have moments that I will treasure for the rest of my life. Thank you. The MEC for Safety, Liaison and Transport, MEC Tikana, and the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Premier Maboyani. I have only the greatest respect for the two of you. Thank you very much for the period that I was able to serve in the Eastern Cape under your command. There was many great moments. I'm sure that sometimes when you looked at all my actions that I took, maybe you had some good laughs to say that, is this guy normal, or how does he think? But thank you very much for the support. It was continuous, it was always there. I had a great time. And without you, I am sure that other issues could have been much more difficult.
I'm not sure about that. This is the best photo. Take this one.
But let me single out the Provincial Commissioner. Lieutenant General Shinga came into my life in 2016 as a Provincial Commissioner. I have never worked with a person who seems to be very soft in terms of dealing with issues, but who can be so assertive, who can make sure that things is done, who cannot go back even 1 meter in terms of ensuring that the standards is maintained. General, I enjoyed it working with you. You've been a person that has won the hearts of all the members of the Eastern Cape. You are the type of a person that makes life very easy for your commanders. You are understanding, but you are also very sure of what you want to achieve. General, I want to thank you for this last few years with your management. You've made life very easy for me in this job. I must be honest to say that I think I've worked with one of the best teams that was ever created. And I so pray that this police of the Eastern Cape will be able to maintain the standards that was set, and that in time to come, the Eastern Cape will even grow to better and greater heights. I respect everybody that contributed to my career. There are many achievements. I am the type of person that believe other people rather talk about your achievements than yourself. But I know that in my time in the police, I had a lot of good and great achievements. But those would not have been possible without the support of everybody else. To those officers that will be retiring with me or who have already retired, let us go out there, and now it's our time. We enjoy this period, and I will wish all of us that we will have a few years of pension coming our way. Thank you very much.